What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams. Thank you for tuning in today on this lovely Saturday afternoon as we continue our 31 days at Disney. And today we're going to be discussing Leroy and Stitch, the final chapter in the Stitch Saga, featuring the voice talents of DeVay Chase, Tia Carrere, David Ogden Stiers, Kevin McDonald, Veen Rames, Kevin Michael Richardson, Zoe Caldwell, Liliana Mummy, Jeff Bennett, Rob Paulson, Tara Strong, Frank Welker, Nancy Cartwright, Tress McNeil, Bobcat Goldthwait, and Chris Sanders. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here today once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, it's Saturday. Happy Saturday. Hope you're enjoying your afternoon today, having a lot of fun with your family. Thank you for tuning in as I wrap up the Stitch Saga with Leroy and Stitch. And as our movie opens, Lilo, Stitch, Jumba, and Pleakley are honored by the Galactic Alliance as heroes now that their mission to capture all 626 experiments and repurpose them on Earth has been completed. Jumba is given the confiscated key to his laboratory once again. Pleakley is offered a post as chairman of Earth Studies at the GACC, Galactic Alliance Community College. And Stitch is made the captain of the Galactic Armada and commander of the newly commissioned BRB 9000, Big Red Battleship 9000. Lilo is made the Galactic Federation's ambassador to Earth and sole guardian of all the experiments. Before they leave, Lilo gives Jumba her favorite Elvis record, Pleakley a small rock to use as a paperweight, and Stitch a necklace with a coup tiki. In his ship, Gantu has decided that since he failed to capture the experiments, except for number 625, he will have to break Dr. Hamsterville out of prison. So he takes a two-man space shuttle, leaving a disheartened 625 all alone. During the jailbreak, he almost mistakes an ordinary hamster-like alien for Hamsterville, but eventually corrects his mistake and escapes from the prison. Now, while they enjoy what they were honored for, Jumba, Pleakley, Lilo, and Stitch begin to feel sad and devastated due to being apart and separated from their Ohana. While Jumba listens to a song on the Elvis record that Lilo gave him, he continues to work on a mold for a new experiment. However, Gantu and Hamsterville burst into his lab, and Jumba attempts to hide the experiment. This goes in vain, however, as Hamsterville was already aware of the mold. He and Gantu then force Jumba to create an evil twin brother of Stitch, Leroy. Meanwhile, Stitch, having been assigned to recapture Hamsterville, arrives at Jumba's lab. Stitch is defeated when Pleakley, at an inopportune moment, distracts him just long enough for Leroy to detain him in a capsule. Hamsterville then reveals his plan to clone an army of Leroys in order to conquer the Galactic Alliance. Before leaving Truro, Hamsterville locks Stitch, Jumba, and Pleakley in Pleakley's GACC vehicle and sends the vessel towards a black hole. Back on Earth, Lilo decides to try and contact Stitch, but realizes that the only intergalactic video phone available on the planet is in Gantu's ship. Upon arrival, she finds a heartbroken 625 and asks if she can use the video phone, only to find that it's not functional. Lilo, upon seeing him hurt, consoles him and renames him Reuben after one of his favorite sandwiches. After using his newfound intelligence, he repairs the galactic video phone, and Lilo then contacts the BRB 9000, wanting to see how Stitch is doing. Leroy attempts to impersonate Stitch using shapeshifting to disguise himself, but the ruse fails when Lilo notices that he isn't wearing the tiki necklace that she gave him. Hamsterville then commands Leroy to head to Earth and capture all of the other 624 experiments. Lilo, realizing that Stitch is in danger, asks Reuben for help in fixing Gantu's ship. Reluctant at first, he activates his abilities, which are very similar to Stitch's, and repairs Gantu's ship in no time at all. As the GACC vehicle heads towards the black hole, Stitch escapes his capsule and frees the others. However, the navigational computer is still locked on course for the black hole. When Jumba notes that they can disrupt the event horizon by throwing a small object into a hole, Stitch takes Pleakley's rock and throws it just moments before they are sucked in. Back on Earth, Leroy searches for and obtains Lilo's scrapbook of the experiments, quickly capturing them along with Lilo's rival, Myrtle, who is the owner of Experiment 007. Gigi, Lilo, and Reuben arrive at Turo, but they are too late as Hamsterville has taken over the Galactic Alliance, making the Grand Councilwoman his receptionist, and he orders Gantu to imprison them. However, after now realizing that Leroy did the capturing work faster than Gantu, Hamsterville fires him. Moments after having a change of heart, Gantu assists the group in their escape. However, they are surrounded by Leroy clones. All seems lost until the GACC vehicle suddenly appears through a wormhole, saving the group and reuniting Lilo and Stitch. With no time to explain, Lilo, Reuben, and Gantu all climb in and head back for Earth. Back on Earth, Leroy has now gathered all of the experiments at Aloha Stadium. After announcing his plan for all the experiments, the BRB 9000 appears and Hamsterville prepares to obliterate them until the others arrive just in time to destroy the ship's primary cannon. However, Hamsterville reveals that he brought along his Leroy army as backup, whereupon an epic battle between them and the original experiments begins. Despite some initial victories by the experiments, the Leroys soon gain the upper hand. After contemplating how to stop the Leroy army, Jumba suddenly remembers that he programmed a secret shutdown command into Leroy, Elvis Presley's Aloha Oi. Once played, Leroy and all his clones will deactivate. With the plan in action, Stitch interrupts the battle and appears on stage in his Elvis attire. Performing Aloha Oi with Lilo and Reuben accompanying him, the Leroys malfunction and shut down. With his plan foiled once again, Hamsterville is recaptured and sent back to prison. Back at the Galactic Alliance HQ, the team is honored by the GA once again. However, Stitch, Jumba, and Pleakley ask to be allowed to return to Earth with Lilo. The councilwoman grants the request and asks Gantu if he would like to be reinstated as the captain of the Armada. Gantu agrees on the condition that Reuben is assigned as his galley officer, leaving the experiment touched. Back on Earth, Lilo sets up for one last Ohana picture as Myrtle arrives with Gigi. Lilo's last picture in the album is her Ohana, along with all of Stitch's cousins. Hamsterville is seen back in prison with Leroy and his clones placed in individual cells who have recovered and begun dancing to Jailhouse Rock as our movie comes to its close. If I'm being completely honest, this was probably my least favorite in the Stitch Saga. And the main reason for it is because of how chaotic it is. Now, I get Stitch is a chaotic character. Don't get me wrong, I understand that perfectly. However, I feel there's so much going on here, especially since all 626 experiments are involved. 627 if you count Leroy, and God knows how many others if you count all the clones. But I just feel that there's so much going on here. Now, this was essentially the finale of the Leroy and Stitch series, which was all about capturing the experiments, repurposing, rehoming them. So it only made sense that they would all at least make a cameo appearance in the movie here. But again, because of all of that activity going on, it just got overwhelming sometimes. So I it's one of those things where would I own it? Yes, because I would probably like to get the other three movies I discussed. The original Lilo and Stitch, Stitch the movie, Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch. I'm a completionist. I can't have those three and not have Leroy and Stitch also. So I would definitely procure it at some point. But there isn't the same sense of urgency for this one as there is for the other ones. I enjoyed the other ones immensely. And we've talked about all four of them now as we've done our 31 Days of Disney this month. So feel free to go back and check all of those out. But this was definitely, and I think the Disney animators would admit, not as much heart in this one as the others. I'm curious to know what you guys think though, because for me, when it comes to Leroy and Stitch, I'm giving it 2 out of 5 stars. Am I right? Am I wrong? What do y'all think? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. And let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And don't forget to tune in later on this evening, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media as we provide our watch-along coverage for Impact Wrestling Slammiversary. Simple Man Noah Foster and the He-Man James Hebert will be on the call, providing their play-by-play commentary, live reactions, predictions, and more as Impact Wrestling celebrates another anniversary of professional wrestling content. And then immediately following that, on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, it'll be time once again for the Saturday night shenanigans that are Open Mic Night. Myself, the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham, the Heeb Man James Hebert, the Simple Man with the spectacular voice Noah Foster will all be there, as well as any other members of the Multiverse of Media who want to step into the club and up to the microphone to engage us in the week of professional wrestling. And then tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, will be another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews as we continue on with our 31 Days of Disney and we discuss Brother Bear 2, featuring the voice talents of Patrick Dempsey, Jeremy Suarez, Mandy Moore, Rick Moranis, Dave Thomas, Michael Clark Duncan, Jeff Bennett, Catherine O'Hara, Wanda Sykes, Wendy Malick, Kathy Najimy, and Jim Cummings. You won't want to miss out on any of that content right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, across the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media. Slammiversary Watch Along, Open Mic Night, Brother Bear 2, and we still have about 15 more movies to do as we continue our journey through the 31 days of Disney right here on Renegades Reviews. Again, you don't want to miss any of it, so make sure you smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE watch-along coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of the Stitch Saga, fans of DeVay Chase, fans of Tia Carrere, anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content, this video. Share it with them, as it's the only way we're going to keep my visibility up in YouTube's algorithms now that we are a monetized channel right here on the platform. Thank you once again to everybody out there who joined me and tuned in this afternoon. It means so much more to me than you guys will ever know. And I will see you guys next time.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.